These two grown men had never seen the Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? They're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
On the wings of a snow white dove, he sends his pure sweet love.
A sign from above.
Sign from above.
These two grown men had never seen the Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Welcome to episode 60 of America's Barley Basket. Already horsing around at the beginning. My name is Nathan Fulsbuck. I am a host. God damn it, one of these times.
Fucking
sitting next to me in person, flesh to flesh, breath to breath, is Marlin Wells.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Really knocking it out of the park again on the intros, buddy.
We're doing it live. No cuts.
Your professionalism really knows no bounds.
That was, the handoff was fucked. I fumbled immediately.
Yeah.
I kicked the ball. I couldn't land on the fumble. I kicked it out of my own end zone, so somehow it's a safety.
Yeah, it is a fucking comedy of errors every time that you do the intro.
I just made it on Golik's Golden Goofs on the lighter side of sports. You guys are young men who grew up rural. You remember watching the lighter
Fucking
side
A,
of sports?
yep.
There is a Twilight Zone feel of network television on a mid-afternoon on a Saturday that's just like time's running backwards. This is never going to stop being the most boring day of my life. It's like, how is it 10 a.m.?
And there's a primitive joy to a sports blooper. Like I think everyone's tastes refine over time, maybe become more obscure or niche. Fucking everyone can laugh at a sports blooper.
It does kind of unite us as a people.
Everyone fucking loves a sports blooper. Watch a guy try to catch a football, but he falls down is what unites all of us, I think.
Look at that son of a bitch. He didn't see that T-ball baseball bat hitting him in the cock and or balls.
Yeah, nut shots are a universal language.
I think we've maybe, I'm sure, 60 episodes now, we've had to have brought up Star Trek. I don't know that we have.
We
haven't. I don't know if I've ever seen a full episode of any Star Trek TV show, but I do remember Star Trek The Next Generation. When it would come on, it would signal to me, okay, I'm not into this, but you know what this means? It's going to be nighttime soon. And the boredom of the day, God, what a childhood that you would just wait for night so you could sleep. Just sit in a trailer house watching terrible programming.
What did you do today? I waited for bedtime.
For bed. And for the sweet embrace of dreamland.
Waiting for bedtime sounds like a fucking Wes Anderson film. Super twee Ben Stiller's there.
Yeah, Bill Murray has a cameo of some sort.
Waiting for Bedtime, starring Bill Murray and Tilda Swinton.
An appearance from one, if not both, of the Wilsons.
Everyone has so much tweed on, they can't even bend.
I also remember, you used to just get Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. There wasn't college football or something going on. They just throw a random-ass movie on NBC at 2 p.m. I remember I've always wanted to go back and find out what it was. I'm guessing they must have been writing some kind of, what the hell? Oh, Deliverance. A Deliverance wave. I think it was like a National Guard weekend warrior troop had a retreat in the deep south in the woods.
Okay.
And they get kind of I don't know what the backstory was, but some depraved hillbilly anti-government people have set a trap for them to kill them all.
Okay.
I remember just being riveted with it, and I've always wanted to go back and find it, but probably horseshit.
Was that a wave of copycat movies after Deliverance?
I just think low budget movies aren't as prevalent as they were in the age of VHS. I just don't think you get that like you used to. There's an insane group. I've only seen one or two of just copycat Alien movies from the first Alien.
Okay.
There's one called Extro that needs to be seen to be believed. It is fucking bonkers. Oh, also Jaws. Jaws was such a phenomenon. There were copycat movies that were big budget movies, like Orca.
Yeah, I was just thinking of Orca. That's the one that comes to my mind immediately, which I watched last October.
Really?
As far as
Richard Burton?
Horror movie thing, I don't know who that is.
Like the star of that movie was a movie star, like a British act, like not an actor, but just like a leading man. So that movie was big.
Yeah,
like
it was really something. I didn't care for it.
Orca
I don't think.
Orca 2, where there's a gnarly scene where a killer whale jumps out and bites a dude's arm off. And he's like, and here
that probably
is
happened.
Greenland.
Yeah,
like, shit.
I think that happened in the first one.
How does an orca just sneak up on you? It's the size of a trailer house. It's like, who could have seen it coming?
Oh, it's like a bus got the drop on me.
Like it's bright white and inky black. It's not like it's murky.
Oh, this fucking wet panda the size of a school bus really snuck up on you.
God, killer whales. That's a kick-ass animal.
Yeah.
Man, what a fucking thing. Don't even have to worry about camouflage. What are you going to do? Try to run. I'm gigantic. He'll see if you get away,
Best of luck to you. Yeah, it's that movie is really something.
There was also I think it's called Grizzly, about a giant man-eating bear.
Jaws but a bear.
Yep.
Jaws but is my new favorite genre.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Hell, the Jaws sequels are that. Like...
Oh, man. Michael Caine, I think. Is that his name, Michael Caine?
Yeah.
I can't remember what movie Michael Caine turned down to be in Jaws 3D instead, but it's something amazing.
It's some great movie that you wish he'd have said yes to.
He's like, I kind of had like a renaissance in the mid-90s, but wouldn't have needed to if I would have been in this movie. I would have been 50 years of a movie star, but I had a lull because I made some poor choices.
I love that kind of Hollywood history of like, so-and-so was the original choice. Like, Tom Selleck was the original choice for Indiana Jones.
He was loyal to Magnum PI.
Magnum PI. And plus Lucas loved Harrison Ford after Star Wars. Like, that kind of shit fascinates me.
Yep. Oh, the little choices here or there. Like, I don't think that's quite the right thing. And just like, oh, boy.
Sean Connery was offered Gandalf and didn't want to be Gandalf.
Really? I wonder what was it because he was getting out of acting?
That probably would have been about that time. Fucking League of Extraordinary Gentlemen kicked him out the door.
He hated that. Yeah, that was that bad of an experience. Like, no, I'm done. Or around the same time, Gene Hackman, Welcome to Mooseport.
Yeah.
His last movie.
I'm curious. I haven't seen the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen since it was new, so I was like maybe a junior in high school, and I remember thinking that movie was perfectly fine.
Never seen it.
So I'd be curious to go try that again.
Yeah, I find the idea, like those two, just thinking, I can't think of many other examples of where like they made the decision. Usually you just start getting smaller and smaller bit roles
until you quit on your own. Yeah.
Well, but again, he didn't choose. Both of those said pretty quickly after them, I'm done.
Yeah, this was it.
I don't know if Jack Nicholson did a movie after About Schmidt, but his was a thing. I think he had projects up in the air, and then I think him and his family deny it. I think he just has dementia, and he struggled to learn lines or remember to be able to make things work, which is. But I mean, if he went out on About Schmidt, what a movie to end on! Man.
I've never seen it.
It's really good. I mean, it's like it's. And you're the star. Your face is on the front. That's the last movie you did. Like, no, what a way to go out.
Yeah, I never saw much of like late model Nicholson, and what I did see, I didn't much care for, like the fucking anger management and the fucking what's the one with him and is it Holly Hunter? The not Wag the Dog, but the other one.
Oh God, I can't think of what that would be. I've never seen Anger Management.
Greg Kinnear is in the one I'm thinking of.
As good as it gets.
Good as it gets.
I like that. Yeah. Not Holly Hunter. Helen Hunt.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same person. I don't care what you tell me. Yeah. You can put the photos down, Nathan. I don't. It's the same.
I got my glossy 8x10 Holly Hunter
that you dug out of your wallet just now. Yep.
Holly Hunter has a cameo as like she's like in college in one of the early slasher movies.
Okay.
The Burning. Does that sound like a movie that exists?
Never seen it.
And I think also maybe, and he actually has a speaking role. I think a pre-baldness Jason Alexander.
Okay.
What a weird connection to have. Like, yeah, me and Holly Hunter met one summer making a $400 budget horror movie that kind of had legs, because who would have guessed these movies would explode like they did?
I like Nicholson most when he's allowed to chew a little scenery.
Yeah,
and like it's not the same. Old Jack Nicholson isn't the same as young Jack Nicholson when it comes to scenery chewing, I don't think. Like, Joker is great.
Yeah.
Fucking Shining is great, you know.
Oh, yeah. One of his last
Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah. I think he is really good at that. I mean, he's not the star because it's more of an ensemble, is The Departed. As kind of like the crime boss.
Yeah.
He gets to stretch his legs a little bit.
That's true.
At times.
He gets to be a little Nicholson-y in that one. I feel about Nicholson the same way I feel about Nick Cage. The more you can just let him off the fucking leash, the more I'm in for it.
Nicholson made, I think actually maybe Sean Penn directed it, a mid to late 90s movie called The Pledge. That, I mean, I think the critics liked it, but it was kind of that, like the critics liked it, but not at the level where it gets tons of awards.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
Like, so it makes somebody's top 10 list and it just dies. But
yeah,
like,
comes in at number 8 that year and no one cares.
Yep. We're renting that from the Senex in my hometown. I was like 17, like, holy shit. Like, was not ready for this. Like
Wolf, another good one that I liked with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Still, that was getting towards the tail end of like, if his name is on the poster, it's probably going to make money.
Yeah.
Because he was a bankable star for
what if we make a werewolf movie, but they also kind of want to fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
and you have seen that movie?
Yeah.
Really? Is it worthwhile? I mean, it
probably
seems competently
no, but
done, at least with those two in it. Like,
yeah, like I remember it being like bad but good bad, like fun bad.
Sinbad's cousin.
Yeah.
He opens on the road for Sinbad.
Fun bad and Sinbad. I remember enjoying it when I saw it in like fucking high school.
Okay.
Last.
Wasn't there a fucking werewolf movie with Benicio del Toro?
The Wolfman.
That with Anthony Hopkins?
That sounds right. I don't remember. I think I saw that in a theater.
No shit.
Yeah.
God.
I remember the transformation scenes being pretty gnarly, but then thinking like no werewolf transformation scene is going to hold a candle to an American Werewolf in London.
Especially
like, why try?
I bet if you saw that movie in 1981,
probably fucked you up.
Holy fuck. That was like, because it's like, so it's like gross. It's just because like it wouldn't be pleasant. It wouldn't be like in the shadows. It'd just be you on the floor of a fucking truck stop bathroom screaming
while
as
all
your body bones
break.
shatter.
Yeah, I think that movie is just pretty good as a whole, but like that scene in particular, second week in a row, the American Werewolf in London transformation scene has come up on this Simpsons podcast.
You know, while we're on the subject of 80s werewolf horror.
Yeah, why not put this off as long as we can? Do you also say, what's the name of the creature?
A werewolf.
A werewolf.
Yeah.
Do you say werewolf with a hard E?
Yeah, an American Werewolf in London. What do you say?
Werewolf.
Where?
Yeah, like the rest of the world says it.
Werewolf.
No.
Yeah.
I'm envisioning an apostrophe in there, so it's we are wolf, which is not...
Wait a second, that's not an apostrophe. No.
You're the only person I've ever heard say it like that.
Dear listeners, message us. Do you say where? A werewolf? That does kind of sound right too.
Werewolf. Like warehouse. Werewolf.
They don't live in warehouses, Marlin.
Oh my God.
See, I think that's where the flaw is in your logic.
Oh, fuck me. Okay.
I'm going to transform on your ass.
Werewolf.
Werewolf.
That sounds like a wee werewolf, like an adorable little werewolf.
Cutie pie.
Yeah. Look at that little werewolf.
Carry him around in a gunny sack, solve mysteries with him.
Shit. Oh my God. Anyway, go ahead.
The Howling. I remember seeing like VHS covers of The Howling.
I can see the poster.
There's one that's like a white with like the like silhouette of a sexy lady that has like sharp teeth.
Sure.
But like, have you ever seen a howling?
Nope.
There's like 4 of them at least. Like,
I've never seen
man,
any of those.
Funny when shit like that can slip past dorks like us. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's always a few of those franchises. Like, well, I'm
Yeah.
not a Star Trek guy, you know, like.
Outside of the original Wolfman from like the 30s, which I've seen a couple of times, and like I always keep coming back to dabble in the werewolf pool, but I never come out loving any of them. Like maybe werewolf just isn't my flavor of monster.
And I haven't watched enough of it. That old Universal horror shit, like Frankenstein. Well, Frankenstein. It's one that maybe I don't even know what's the first one. I think it might be like the second Frankenstein or Bride of Frankenstein. Holds up pretty well, but a lot of that don't do much for me either.
The one I will give that fucking certainly does is Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Does it really?
I watched that movie for the first time last year, and I was like, this is great.
No
that
shit.
movie is
Good for
so
it.
fucking good.
Interesting.
I loved it.
Well, it was just within the last handful of years, Universal thought this was going to be their Marvel.
Yep, I know where you're going.
Wasn't it The Mummy?
Yeah, with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Yep.
And it ate its own ass on the box office. And they just like, nope. They just had all these projects ready. Nope. Well, no. Then now it has a pulse because The Invisible Man with, I can't think of her name. It's a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. That was a Universal, and they had to scale it down because, like, oh, these are not going to be hits. So they scaled it down. They let them make it, and it made money. It was one of the last big money makers right before COVID. It was the last movie I saw in a theater before COVID.
And that one wasn't going to be tied to their greater universe.
Yep.
They had given up on it by then.
And now they're thinking, okay, maybe we can re-envision some of this other shit.
But I remember they released like press photos, like here's Russell Crowe, who's going to be Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and but that Mummy movie tanked so hard that they were just like, oh well, never mind. The Dark Universe, I think it was called.
God damn it!
And before that, they had failed to try to launch that all before Mummy with that fucking Dracula movie that came out a handful of years before that. That did so poorly. That was their original plan.
So I wonder if they had stars lined up for the werewolf franchise,
probably,
and then the Wolfman, I guess they would call it, or a new Dracula. But then I'm sure they must have had a plan to make a Creature of the Black Lagoon movie. Yeah, that Invisible Man movie was far better than I would have ever assumed.
I heard that was good because it's like at some point it's a metaphor for like stalkers.
Yeah, like domestic violence. Yeah.
I don't really remember the name of that Dracula movie, but I think that was their original first plan, and then it failed. So they were like, never mind, The Mummy's going to be the first one.
Can you think of the last vampire-based movie that would have been a hit? Oh, fuck, Twilight.
I was going to say the Twilight movies.
But then there was that remake of Fright Night with Colin Farrell.
Yeah, with Colin Farrell.
Yeah, very enjoyable.
I didn't see the remake.
I couldn't believe it. It was one of those ones that's like, this has got a decent Rotten Tomatoes score for a horror remake of a movie that, frankly, wasn't that great to begin with in the 80s.
I think Fright Night, the original, is fine. I think it's pretty decent.
Oh, man, I used to have a gnarly original VHS copy of that I bought at a fucking fire-damaged video store in rural North Dakota, and I sold all of my VHS movies for a combined $3. A guy was like going through at a rummage sale, a yard sale, going through his chain, trying to get enough money. Like, well, I don't want to break this, but here's this. I think I was selling my movies for like 50 cents a piece, and I was like, how much do you have in your hands right now? I was like, $3. I'm like, they're all yours.
Just get out of here. I want to get out of the sun.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, if you want a deal from your old pal Nate Folsom, like, show up late in the afternoon at a yard sale. I will sell you everything. It's all yours. I sold
a song.
My cassette collection. I might have just left that on the edge of the road.
Free to good home.
Hey, shithead, you like Pam Tillis?
There's a t-shirt. Hey, shithead, do you like Pam Tillis?
Like a middle-aged woman mail carrier. And she's like, well, that was very rude. I do like
And
Pam
yes, I
Tillis.
do.
I think I will look through these cassettes.
Oh shit! I gotta talk to my buddy who owns a screen printing shop and get some of these fucking t-shirts.
A hoodie pullover sweatshirt and huge letters on the back. Hey, shithead, do you like Pam Tillis? And on the front is just a huge close-up of her face.
Oh god.
Costs $400 to make. So your
man.
profit margins are going to be thin.
Whew.
Gotta hand make each of these hoodie sweatshirts. Got an Etsy channel dedicated to fucking one of a kind 90s country western attire. Who needs a Kix Brooks Snuggie? Not Brooks and Dunn, because that's fucking day one shit. Just Kix.
Just Brooks.
From that weird solo debut album he had in the late 80s before he met Ronnie Dunn. Which I think I briefly owned.
Of course you did. You tried to pawn it off on some nice female mail carrier.
Was it hey shithead or hey shit for
Hey
brains?
shithead.
Hey shit. Fucking shithead. Is it awesome thing to call a 55-year-old a woman?
Public service employee, nonetheless.
But anyhow, this is a
Oh, sure. Yeah. You know who else moved some questionable T-shirts in their day?
Holy shit. Wow, the beat man. Golf clap for that segue. There it was, folks. That is 60 episodes deep.
Yeah, 60 episodes. We got the hang of this.
The sure hand of a regular podcaster.
Boy, you knew it was gone as soon as it came off the bat, baby. We're working through season 14, episodes 6 through 10 today. And episode number 6 is The Great Louse Detective, a reference that I was into because I watched that Disney movie a lot when I was a kid. I liked The Great Mouse Detective quite a bit. Big, the 90s were really the heyday of cartoon mice.
Yeah.
Like between Great Mouse Detective,
Stuart Little?
The Rats of Nim.
Oh, that's more 80s, but I'll let you have it.
The An American Tail and Fievel Goes West.
Yeah. Oh, I love me some American Tail.
Fievel Goes West is my favorite animated film of all time.
It's the best moment I ever had because Disney wasn't big. The one childhood memory I can have of really enjoying a cartoon in the theater was Fievel Goes West.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the fucking greatest. Dom DeLuise is great in that.
Do you think it holds up?
As someone who watched Fievel Goes West pretty recently.
Oh, really? Okay.
Alone in his apartment. Yeah, it totally
Good.
fucking holds
Good
up.
to hear. That makes me happy.
It's very good. Oh. There's a fucking stuffed Fievel sitting on that bookshelf over there.
There is. I don't ever pick up on that before.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've discussed how Disney wasn't a part of my childhood at all. But Fievel was as close to me having a beloved. I watched a ton of TV animation.
Sure.
Muppet Babies Ride or Die. But yeah, but Fievel was the only cartoon. I think when I was really, really little, they were rehashing old school Disney shit. I think my mom took me to see Snow White when I was 3. But
sure.
That's just hopefully this kid doesn't shit himself at that age. Just instantly regretting bringing a child to the movies.
And that was of that era. Remember when there were companies besides Disney that could put out successful animated films?
Yeah.
Like the Fievel movies, the Don Bluth films, the fucking Land Before Time isn't a Disney movie.
Yeah.
And then you had so many of those like short run theater or straight to VHS ones of All Dogs Go to Heaven or Rock-a-Doodle-Doo.
Rock-a-Doodle.
All of those of those non-Disney animated films that were popping up.
Dairy Queen partnering with Rock-a-Doodle. I bet they really wished that movie would have been a hit. They're stuck 9 months later selling commemorative Rock-a-Doodle blizzards,
Yeah. My grandma had that on VHS. I watched Rock-a-Doodle-Doo quite a bit, I think. And All Dogs Go to Heaven. There was a lot of that in my childhood.
Is All Dogs Go to Heaven not Disney?
I don't think so.
Oh, no shit.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
I was thinking it was, but I am not a great animation mind.
There was always like weirdly questionable content in those that wouldn't be in Disney films. Like, if I'm remembering right, Rock-a-Doodle-Doo has a shit ton of gambling in it for a child's movie. And fucking All Dogs Go to Heaven has like dog Satan and ghosts pulling people down into hell.
Is there a character in Rock-a-Doodle called Chanticleer? That sound right?
We've my bench is empty as far as Rock-a-Doodle content goes, buddy.
I try to take all the tricks I could. Now we're just playing pass. Sometimes you got to rely on your partner to get a couple tricks.
Yep, I got as far as I could take you.
So if you're out, we're out.
We should watch Rock-a-Doodle-Doo and do commentary and post it.
I don't want to steal your thunder, but I'm pretty sure it's just called Rock-a-Doodle. That's the end of my Rock-a-Doodle.
Are we done with Rock-a-Doodle talk?
Let's give it 45 minutes and circle back.
Okay, we'll come back to the Rock-a-Doodle. Watch Fievel Goes West. It's great.
It's fun. You know what else is animated?
What's that?
The Simpsons.
Look at that. Boom. Out of the yard, baby.
We did it.
Marge is vacuuming. She has vacuumed up Maggie, which I thought was a fun sight gag of Maggie coming out of that zip-down vacuum bag, which is very of the time.
Yeah.
The family has won a free weekend at Stagnant Springs Spa, which seems like a bad name for a spa place. I just thought today, boy, I should schedule a massage soon because it has been a while.
Yeah, I have had one. I'm due for another.
I think it's been years.
Oh, really?
For me. For a while there, I was on like a fucking every 6 week standing appointment.
Good way to live.
Years ago at this point, but yeah, I'm missing it.
One thing I enjoyed in this episode was the George Foreman mail sorter.
Yep.
And just the picture of him that says, "I love money."
Yep, that's the catchphrase. I like that it takes the junk mail and presses it down into some manner of
edible
patty.
bar.
Yeah, that Homer eats.
Man, this is the right era. This has almost been peak George Foreman grill sales in the early 2000s. Like,
do you think if you polled everyone who was born 1980 or after and asked how many of you have owned a George Foreman product in your life, how high do you think the percentage is?
I think you go 75 to 85 span, especially the men. Because I think that was often like a Christmas gift for early 20s guys where their mom was just like, you can't just eat Skittles. So here you go. And you know how many apartment parties I went to in college with the dirtiest Foreman grill just sitting?
You never cleaned it.
Never, ever clean. And not designed well either. It's like,
no.
Why was that dish not locked in place? Like the grease trap dish.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be so you take it off and rinse it out.
Yeah.
Or it's separate from the grill, so you lose it, and now you just kind of lean it over the sink.
You're just pouring boiling grease.
Yeah.
I bet what your property manager loves.
Probably big fans.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone my age owned one. I think they all got them as high school graduation presents for their fucking dorm rooms.
Oh,
as if you're buying meat in the dorms.
Yeah. Cooking those pork chops you have an abundance of.
I think everyone probably used theirs once and then never again.
Yeah.
I certainly used the shit out of it, like living in a fucking house with 2 other dirt bags.
Yeah.
Like there was it got a lot of use there, but
I know one of my friends they cracked the code. They did the numbers, figured out the exact way. You take a fresh out of the freezer chicken breast.
Okay.
Run it under the sink for
X amount of time.
10 seconds. Splash on some seasoned salt. 10 minutes. No flipping required. Cooked perfectly.
Huh.
Yep.
From frozen?
From frozen.
I'm questioning, but okay.
One would think.
Yep.
But when I say cooked to perfection, I mean it won't make you sick. Could be mixed with other foods and you wouldn't notice that.
Yeah.
Again, won't make you. When you're eating chicken breast as a 22-year-old, 50-50 shot you're ending in the ER. So to not be sick, mission accomplished.
I feel like we mostly used ours for bacon in that house.
Oh, interesting.
Which makes a fucking mess.
I'm just gonna say,
just slamming fucking Karkoff and cranberry, eating fucking Foreman bacon.
Have I talked to you about my bacon hookup?
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
There is a man in my hometown who delivers food.
You got a bacon guy?
I don't want to give away too much. I don't want this guy to get in trouble.
Yeah, don't blow up his spot.
Kind of discreetly when he comes to town, he will mention, hey, anyone's interested, I got my hands on some expired bacon. But it's store expired. So, I mean, bacon is 85% salt. You don't have to listen to those things. I have been living off this discount bacon, paying... I think I'm getting it at like 10 pounds for $21. And that's fine.
A ludicrous price for bacon.
Fine bacon. I mean, it's not like, you know.
I mean, you're alive. You're not, as far as I know, you haven't shat in that chair yet.
I mean, the night's young, but it's better than 90% of store-bought bacon. And I've eaten a lot of shit store-bought bacon. I've tried a lot of the different brands because I'm cheap.
There's a lot of shit-ass bacon out there, yeah.
This is... and I mean, I don't want to give brands away. I don't want this guy to get in trouble. It's kind of a regional brand. It's one of the higher priced ones in the rest or in a grocery store. So, yeah.
I'm intrigued by your expired bacon hookup.
That's
Look at you living life. People said you wouldn't amount to nothing.
Decadent.
Now who's eating expired bacon, baby?
Damn Sultan. Draped in the greasiest of fabrics.
This is what keto is all about.
Yep.
It's
I'm
about
a health nut.
Expired salted meat. We're fucking 1 minute into this episode of The Simpsons. So they're at the spa. They're getting massages. They're doing yoga. They're doing all of the typical spa stuff. Homer ends up heading into the sauna, which they call a steam room. I prefer a sauna, but I get that it's the same thing. He gawks at Rainier Wolfcastle's hog for a minute, and then an unknown assailant fucking locks Homer in and turns the heat up all the way.
Yeah.
You a big fan of a steam room?
Yeah, I don't mind them.
Really?
I can get a sweat on.
I don't think I've been in one since high school, and back then you're like horsing around.
I haven't been in one since I was 20.
You're not enjoying it like you're supposed to.
Yeah, I could see it, but yeah, there is a difference between a sauna and a steam room, though. Isn't a sauna have a dry heat? A steam room is super steamy.
Oh, okay, sure.
Like a steam room, you open it and you're hit with a wall, cloud of steam. I think a sauna is dry.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the difference.
It's got the coals that you pour the water on.
Yep, you got it. Pretty sure.
I've only been in like hotel fucking saunas before.
Which is, full of teenage grab-assery.
Exactly.
No one's in there to open their pores.
Yeah. Oh, we snuck in a couple of beers. It only takes you 2 to get shit-faced in this sauna.
Which, when you're 16, you should maybe think about opening your pores. Maybe just chill out, enjoy it.
My pores could have used a lot of work when I was 16.
Pores had seen some shit. Just level with the grease only found on the little meat discs in a Lunchable.
My face looked like what pools up when a pepperoni curls and turns into that cup. It was, rough times. Look at us glow up.
Yeah, just gonna say, look at that. Look at those alabaster cheeks.
Now we have a murder mystery. Wiggum is going to enlist a murderer to help them find this attempted murderer. And we go to and I got a chuckle out of this, the Campbell's Chunky Soup Maximum Security Prison.
I'm guessing you really got a kick out of the Silence of the Lambs vibe of this episode.
Absolutely. Yeah. The best film of all time. I really liked the joke of the sponsored prison, which is maybe a little real, but at least they made it
coming
funny.
Around the corner if it's not.
Yep. Of course, the man who we're here to see is Sideshow Bob, and he kind of is a little standoffish. Why would I help you? And I love the prize. If you help us, you get to pick your part in the prison production of Man of La Mancha, which is so good. I love, A, that's what they decided to use there, and B, that Bob is on board. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, enthusiastically. Because he had his thoughts on how this production should be done. Now he could have a say in it.
Yep. In order to keep him in line, we equip him with a shock garter, which I laughed at, and we take every chance we can to push the button to shock Bob. We get a lot of that throughout the entire episode.
We do.
To the point where I'm kind of over it by the time the episode ends. But it's funny right away. He wants to just follow Homer through a normal day to see if he can maybe figure out who this might be that's trying to kill Homer. And I love that right away they're hang gliding. And Bob is like, "This is a normal day, really?" And Homer's like, I was trying to impress you." That was a very funny joke. And then he has another idea to lure in the murderer. He has that fucking automatic clothesline, that electric clothesline, and he hangs a dummy Homer on it, who's like filled with grass or whatever.
Peggy, or is it Peggy and Selma?
Patty and
Selma. Well, they might throw that goddamn cinder block at his head. They just peel out. I like that.
Plenty of people stop by and take a whack at this thing. Mo and Willie and Lovejoy all come by and attack this stuffed Homer. But yeah, it's Patty and Selma who really, they just pull up and huck this cinder block.
Attempted murder in any state of the union.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh wow, his head really came off," and peel out of there. Homer and Sideshow Bob are down at Moe's having some drinks, and a hand with a revolver in it sticks through the door and shoots the pickled egg jar, which is a tragedy because now there's a wasted pickled eggs.
Oh, that is a tragedy.
I have been hella jonesing pickled eggs lately, by the way. That's going to have to happen soon. I fucking near bought a jar at the butcher last week.
They are good.
I like the bit we get of, it's really off the wall joke, but Mo being like super sad about the broken egg jar and being like, "I should have taken more pictures." And then there's a series of photos of him like on vacation at the beach with this jar of pickled eggs.
Is there any pickled bar treat that's just too far to a bridge too far?
I am not wild about pickled fish. It's not my favorite. I very rarely crave it. So often I will not eat a bar pickled fish.
How about pickled gizzards?
I'll eat a pickled gizzard.
How about pickled pig's feet?
Fucking A, pickled pig's feet. Pickled pig's feet is a very close second to the egg. Yeah. I love a pickled pig.
For me, the egg wins just because of the ease of use.
Yeah, absolutely. But some of them fucking, how'd you put it before? Them pig knucks? Yeah, I'm into
Nibble
it.
some knuck.
Give me a knuckle, baby.
There's a line, I don't know if we're up to it yet, where Homer and Sideshow Bob, or I don't even know where the setting is, but Sideshow Bob reassures him, "Homer, if I can write haikus while skinheads beat me with soap, I can concentrate anywhere."
Yep. That was very good. I don't remember exactly where that's at.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
We convince Homer that he needs to kind of just lie low till this all blows over, but he's been elected King of Mardi Gras. Which my autocorrect corrected to Mario Grass, which I'm pretty into. That's a t-shirt as well. So Bob thinks that it's the tow truck driver who had been there to pick up Homer's car earlier. We saw this tow truck driver earlier. So Bob thinks that that's who it is. The brakes on the float that Homer is on have been cut.
Yep.
So he goes flying down that hill right towards the Museum of Swordfish. Yeah. And Marge remarks that that's been nothing but trouble since it's built. Just all these swordfish heads poking their swords out into the street. Bob saves him, swoops in and saves Homer from his swordfish death. And then they see the guy who's responsible, and he's on stilts, so they get on stilts. These stilt jokes I wasn't on board with right away, but eventually came around to.
There's a good scene where, because Homer's still king of Mardi Gras, and they tries to commandeer one of the bullies on stilts.
Yep.
Jesus is our only king. Not anymore.
I like the occasional, poignant thing that comes out of Jimbo.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but there's something about when they let him say something of substance, I'm usually pretty into it. Like when he stole Lisa's Malibu Stacy's. He's just like, I just don't like how it portrays women.
Yeah.
Like, I like when Jimbo has some depth.
Yeah.
So there's a stilt chase. They catch up to this guy, and it is the tow truck driver. He is Frank Grimes Jr., which is a name we have not heard in a long time. I remembered the name, but not who it was, so I'm exactly who they stuck this little clip in there for, of Frank Grimes being like, oh, I don't have to do it, because he was some manner of, like, safety inspector or something, who was frustrated by how unsafe Homer was, and he's just like, ooh, I'm Homer Simpson, I can do whatever I want, and just grabs those high-voltage wires and dies. So this was all a plot for revenge on the part of Frank Grimes Jr. So we caught the killer. We tranquilized Bob with a rhino tranquilizer. And Homer is putting Bart to bed. Hey, glad that's over with. And Sideshow Bob is still in the house. He's escaped somehow. Yeah. And he's about to kill Bart, but then he can't, because he's like... Part of it is like he kind of likes Bart, but part of it is he's like addicted to the drug that is seething revenge. Yeah. And then he sings a song about it and leaves.
Yep. And I think it's at that same time towards the end where Homer yells from the other room, Bart, turn down that original cast recording and go to sleep. God, I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, that was good. And like last thing on the way out, they show birds that have the remote to his shock garter. And so we end on Bob getting shocked. All in all, not my favorite, but that was all right.
Yep.
I like a Sideshow Bob one. The fucking stilt shit at the end I thought was super funny because it's so dumb.
I'd put it ahead of most season 13 episodes. I'd say that would
was
have been
fine.
Top 5 or 6 season 13 episode, I'd say.
I think it was pretty decent. We're in 14. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, or I mean, like, I would put this over the things we had just seen in the previous season, if that makes sense. Yeah,
that was all around pretty solid. A lot of good little jokes in there.
Let's see if we can keep that trainer rolling in episode 7. Special Edna. So I'm already jazzed.
You're already here for it.
That tight little package we know and love as Edna Krabappel was supposed to go on a kind of a weekend apple picking, I think, right?
Yeah.
Some kind of couples thing, like a middle-aged couple would do with.
Apple picking seems like a scam by apple farmers.
Yeah.
Like, we've marketed this to you as being romantic to do with your partner, but really it's just labor.
When I think of anything related, the closest I can think is being a kid with my grandma filling ice cream pails full of June berries and cranberries while she chain smoked.
It was choke cherries where I came from.
I'm sorry. Ours would be cranberries, June berries, and choke cherries.
Yeah, got to pick choke cherries for great grandma.
Yeah, to make some kind of syrup.
Syrup and jelly.
Yeah. God, the syrup is good.
Oh, choke cherry syrup is fantastic.
My grandma later in life started making choke cherry wine. I wish I always would have got my hands on some of that.
I would drink choke cherry wine.
You go into her bathroom, and the bathtub would be full of jugs with condoms over the neck of them, and they blow up. Like that's part of the fermentation, the gas. Yeah. It's just like the idea of my grandmother buying rubbers. It's not what you'd think. I'm running a fucking moonshine distillery.
I thought you were going to say that she just had the bathtub full of choke cherry wine, which is a way better visual ladle for me.
Oh, what a day.
I got to send them kids out for more.
My grandmother's bathtub for most of my life, so she wasn't an elderly woman when I was really young. Their bathtub always had random shit in it, like just like newspapers. It's just like, how often are you people bathing?
Not enough. If this is also storage.
Do you think that as you maybe get older, you almost revert back to being a little kid where you don't stink like you used to?
We've all been in nursing homes. They all smell like hell. I don't think that theory holds any water.
Though I don't know if they smell like BO. I think it's like just medicine and sadness. Like
it's a different. Maybe maybe you stop sweating and start excreting something else that makes that smell.
Just like liquefied sadness. I've never smelt an elderly person like, Jesus Christ, man. Were you playing fucking pickup basketball
today? Did you just get done working out?
Yeah. Well, that's probably You just don't move, like.
Yeah, I don't know that there's. I don't know that your theory has legs.
Yeah, we need someone. One of our elderly listeners, please let us know. How often do you bathe? Describe your bathing techniques. So Edna is excited to go apple picking with Seymour, but of course, the cuck that he is has to take care of his mother. And this is obviously a theme, and she's kind of beginning to lose faith in her relationship, and just kind of gets bummed out. You get a lot of the same vibes from Edna in this one as you do in the Gordie Howe. That's a throwback.
Oh yeah,
Yep. And
I liked the joke that he was like, "Oh, I can't because I have to take care of mother, but I bought you these store-bought apples."
Yeah.
As if that was
makes up.
Yeah.
Like that was the reason for the trip was to get apples.
And she even says, like, it's not about the apples, you idiot. Yeah. I laughed at that joke.
I did like this aspect of it. Bart is supposed to write a big paper about World War I, but he just keeps getting distracted. And the distractions get more and more ridiculous. Like Milhouse's uncle with that goddamn Black Hawk helicopter.
Yeah.
And what is it? You got to do it now. He's certainly going to be court-martialed for this.
Now's your only chance. Yeah.
So yeah, that was good.
I liked him copy. He copies his ass on a copier at the library. Have you ever? Is that a just on TV thing?
No, I think I have once been around someone that had photocopies of their ass somewhere.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it ever looks like you're hoping it will. I had a friend that scanned his nutsack one time, and it was not, I don't know, man. It's what you'd expect. And he kind of like pressed it out so he got maximum coverage. If you can picture how a yam bag works.
Like trying to flatten a fucking hacky sack.
Yeah.
How do you?
Yeah. How'd I have to explain that to HR?
I'm not trying to say that I wish I could see the act, but I want to know the logistics. Like, do you get the whole, like, are you just doing the bottom basically then? And smashing it down with because scanners have a lid that you have to close.
So and obviously he couldn't mush, So
right. It's not a mammogram machine.
So it doesn't scan like one would want, but it's color. So man, I didn't need to see that. I would have appreciated black and white, a little mystery.
Oh God. Yeah, I had enough friends in college who would show you their nutsack whether you wanted it or not.
Love that.
Some of those guys just there are some exhibitionist dudes who just want to show.
Some people want to watch the world burn. Some people want the world to watch their beanbag. Or back in the day of disposable cameras, I had one friend, shout out to my buddy James, if he saw a disposable camera that no one was using, it immediately went down the front of his pants, and he just dumped the clip. Just pictures of his back. So sometimes if he was near a bathroom, he would go in there and drop trow, so you got clear pictures of his nutsack. So that was his thing, man. He just liked showing off his nuts.
I won't name names, but I had a friend once who found someone's cell phone, took it into the bathroom, and put sunglasses on his penis and took a photo.
That's a good move.
That's
tip of the hat.
Pretty solid to whoever's phone that was. Yeah. I mean, that's, like the real serious answer is, hey, that's not cool. Maybe you don't do that to people. But the funny answer is, that's a dick with sunglasses on it, which is funny.
That is good. So Bart is kind of panicking now. He needs to get that paper done. So he asks Grandpa Simpson for some World War I info, which is obviously pure horse shit.
What? You don't think Abe is telling the truth here in this tale?
I can't remember how it works out, but at one point, I think it's who says, "Good night, sleepyhead. Do you need to poop?" Like they're talking about
Homer does.
That's what it is.
He comes by and picks up fucking Abe, like scoops him up in his arms. Do you need to poop? And Abe's response is always.
Yes. That was the perfect answer for that. And since Bart didn't get the paper done, Krabappel makes him stay late and finish the paper. During this time, yet again, another kind of couple retreat plan they had falls through again. Seymour is spineless. And Bart, kind of a no real ulterior motive, decides to spend some time with Mrs. Krabappel. Like, this isn't like the Revenge of the Gordie Howe one.
Yeah, it's not like he's not being shitty. Like, Bart is just like, hey, she could probably use a pick-me-up. I'll take her to a movie.
They went to a big IMAX movie, The World's Biggest Holes.
Nature's Biggest Holes.
Have you ever been to a big IMAX movie? I've only been to one. I went to a tornado one.
No, I don't think I have.
It's a very cool experience.
I've heard it's pretty rad.
It's like... It's interesting, the whole setup, because you're almost like laying back.
Because the screen's so fucking big.
And it's like, and it kind of is curved, so it's almost over you too.
Okay.
So like, yeah, it's an experience.
No, I don't think I have. Like the closest one to us is Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And I think every time I've been down there, I've thought about going, but there's never a movie there. It's always just like a fucking documentary about whales or something, which I'm sure also looks really good on an IMAX, but it's usually not what I'm there for.
Oh, yep. And yeah, and it's oftentimes the movies themselves just seem like, why do we have to watch this? But fuck, visually they're real cool. So
yeah, I'm glad somebody got a grant so I can watch this enormous film about coral.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, like, oh boy, we have to learn more about the manta ray than I ever needed to know.
They look like they got smiley faces.
Bart, again, being a good human, wants to cheer up Krabappel, so she nominates her for the Teacher of the Year award. And I did like the angle that they found out it was Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
And like the line is, if she's danced with the devil in the blue shorts and lived, we have ourselves a nominee. Like that because we don't get as much. That the show is so much less Homer, or it's more Homer-centric. Those first few seasons was tons of Bart.
Yeah,
and
Bart
how big
was
of a shithead he was.
Arguably the main star of that, of the first couple seasons.
Absolutely. First 3 seasons, definitely.
I wonder if this is 2002, I wonder if his skateboard and slingshot shtick was no longer, because now we have school shootings. Like, is he not a bad boy anymore because he rides a skateboard and owns a slingshot?
Yeah, I wonder.
I think...
God, a slingshot is so antiquated. You know,
yeah. Did you ever... I for sure had slingshots growing up.
I remember kids having them.
I had the one that has like the wrist thing.
Yeah, every once in a while someone have a more Gucci one.
Yeah.
They were called like wrist rockets.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then
I could hit a bird with it.
And then I just remember also like the $1.99 Dollar Tree toy plastic grip with a U-shaped piece of plastic and a chintzy rubber band. Yeah.
You pull it back that first time and it snaps and you catch yourself in the eye.
Exactly. The wrist rocket ones, they were never had one, but they were fun to fuck around with.
Yeah.
So, fucking Skinner is again such a just spineless cuck. And he's screwing everything up. And gonna lose a tight piece of ass like Edna Krabappel because he's to wash his mom's fucking back or whatever he has to do. So because of that, she's a nominee for it's narrowed down to like 6 teachers. So Krabappel and the Simpsons have a free trip to Epcot Center in Orlando, Florida.
Which I don't know. It occurred to me during this because Homer makes a big deal about how shitty Epcot Center is and how he doesn't want to go. It occurred to me during this episode, I don't fucking have a clue what Epcot Center is.
I just assumed it was an attraction in Disney
Same here.
World.
I thought it was part of Disney World.
Because they act like it's not. I'm almost sure it is. I don't know.
I mean, at the end of this, he escapes to go to Disney World.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm going to maybe think that The Simpsons isn't 100% accurate, but at least here, it seems to be full of like World of Tomorrow,
and that is
Fair
kind of the
type
thing it was,
shit.
yeah.
Okay.
And I got to mention this if I haven't already in a previous podcast. If you have Twitter in your life and you're not following the Epcot Center Twitter account.
I am not.
It's the reason I got Twitter.
Am I missing out?
I heard Patton Oswalt on a podcast or a talk show losing his mind. And this is like a dozen years ago when Twitter was in its infancy. It is a guy, or a gal, who I shouldn't assume gender, that created a fucking Epcot Center Twitter account way before the real Epcot Center did. And it's pitch perfect. Like if he was just a downtrodden middle management staff leader at Epcot Center, for some reason no one besides him ran the account, it's exactly what it would be like.
Okay,
it's so perfect. It's like some of them are real vague, like we're trying our best, and anyone that says otherwise has never worked in the service industry, and that's it. Just like a weird, like there's an airing of grievances.
Weirdly curt.
Or there was one who was like, the man in the parking lot who's giving autographs and says he is Jameer Nelson is not Jameer Nelson. Who's like a random shooting or point guard for the Orlando Magic in the mid-aughts.
Yeah, that's just a deep cut.
And they do a questions and answers that is so well done. It's all so good. Like, again, it's comedy gold. Like I can go, like I'll forget about it for months at a time, and I'll go reread it and just die laughing at some of it. It's that good.
I'll have to check it out. Everyone should, and follow at Barley Basket.
There you
USA.
go. Yeah. While you're at it,
while you're there,
give us a like.
You can see my fun doodle I do every week.
I don't act like you don't like doodles. You're too good for doodles. Too good for you.
What are you, too good for doodles? These T-shirts. Our eventual America's Barley Basket merch store is going to be jam packed. Yeah. Did you buy the too good for doodle shirt, or did you buy the wash your party holes shirt?
You can't go wrong with either. Man, like the idea, we've discussed this before, the idea of going somewhere like Epcot, because Enron does come up later in this episode.
Yes, they do.
But like to Epcot, like as a child, I could have just as feasibly imagined flying to the moon than going to Disney World.
Yeah.
That was something you only saw. Children being on an airplane. My parents had never been on an airplane when I was a kid. Never flown anywhere in their lives. Like the idea that families do that for fun. Yeah.
I was 27 before I got on an airplane.
I was 20, flew once, and then I didn't fly again until I was like 35. So
yeah, it's crazy. But yes, what you're getting, the idea of like being a kid and going to a place that you've seen on television,
insane,
regardless of what it is, is crazy.
Yep. So, hey, don't raise your children in a dusty hellscape.
Yeah. Don't let your babies grow up to be shut-ins.
Yeah. Oh, what it is there's like a joke. There's some satire of the Enron ride.
Yeah. Which, like, the story of Enron is fucking horrifying.
Yeah. Anyone that is all about the free market needs to watch that documentary. Just like, oh, this is when capitalism's left to its own devices. This is what can happen.
Yeah.
Like,
but that joke, because it's an Enron like roller coaster, and it like follows their stock price, and then it ends in the poorhouse, and this unseen voice just goes, "That's good satire."
We've had that voice a few times. It's been a while.
Holy shit, that was
I got
funny.
a laugh out of that. So Skinner decides that he needs to do something to win Edna back, so he follows her to Epcot. He tries to sabotage Edna's chances of winning the award in hopes that she'll become so depressed that she will come back to him. Because the worry is if she wins this,
she's gone.
Yeah, like, do what?
Go be a teacher in a better place, I guess.
A better school. They do rag on that school a lot.
Yeah, because, I mean, Springfield Elementary is kind of shown as being a fucking barely functioning school with no budget or anything.
I don't know how much we can trust their word on that, because they often talk shit about the Simpsons house, and the Simpsons house is beautiful.
Baller? Yeah. I mean, outside of the interior decorating, there's a lot of pinks and purples and that corncob curtainry in the kitchen that I'm not super into, but...
So Skinner realizes he needs Bart's help to throw the Teacher of the Year contest. And I do like, this is worth pointing out, Skinner visits Bart at an arcade to enlist his help.
Yeah.
We're probably getting to the end of arcades appearing on The Simpsons.
Like, I bet in places like that, they survived a little longer, but yeah, the regular ass mall arcade.
Yeah.
This is late 2000, so the mall arcade in Kirkwood Mall in Bismarck was still going strong and still had a Dance Dance Revolution machine in it, so I was still going to it.
You know, the arcade and the Fargo Mall may have been done by that time. The arcade in Fargo ended almost prematurely.
Well, it couldn't have been. It was still still there at this point for sure, because it was still there when I got here in 2003.
No doubt. Okay.
But not for long. They also had a Dance Dance Revolution machine, so they saw some money out of me too.
So again, Skinner's convinced Bart to help him help throw the Teacher of the Year contest to make sure that Krabappel loses. And then I think he tries to sell it as he doesn't know how to read.
Yeah, that's going to be how he sabotages Edna, is to like read her introduction but pretend that he can't read because she's a bad teacher. Mm-hmm. Also, a celebrity voice from Little Richard actually did the voice.
Yep, that was nice.
Pour one out for Little Richard.
Yeah,
I like that Homer shouts "Purple Rain" at Little Richard because he thinks he's Michael Jackson.
Yeah, there was a couple layers to that one. Yeah, I got a kick out of that too. But then Skinner kind of has like a 11th hour change of heart and doesn't want Krabappel to get hosed.
Yeah.
But she ended up not winning anyhow.
Right. Yeah. Ends up going to some other teacher.
Yeah. So Skinner finally grows a beanbag, discussing beanbags earlier, proposes to Krabappel, and she says yes.
For some reason.
Yeah.
He just tried to sabotage you on stage at Epcot Center. Like, I question that this is the right move.
Yep.
But, we don't know what Edna's feeling just
now.
Who
are we? She's a complicated woman.
Yeah.
Remember she used to fuck sushi chefs in parking lots?
Hell yeah.
In
right in the car.
Subcompact cars.
On their smoke breaks.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful soul. So that's how it ends, except then we do get Homer jumping a barbed wire barricade into Disney World, where he gets charged, I think, $14 for a churro.
For one churro, yeah.
Which I got a kick out of.
You a fan of a churro? You like a churro?
Don't dislike them. Never think of, if I'm somewhere and the churro's an option.
Yeah.
There can't be a lot of other options, because I'd probably choose something else. I don't dislike them. I never, I want a churro. Never.
I'm pretty high on a churro.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not wild about the texture, but cinnamon pretty high on my
it's a tasty treat.
Favorite dessert flavor profiles.
Really?
You give me Cinnamon Toast Crunch, a churro, cinnamon rolls.
Interesting. See,
cinnamon dessert is the balls.
All of the things you just rattled off are things I enjoy. Never would think of ordering.
Really?
Or buying. Like, to get a cinnamon roll, it has to be like someone at the diner. I'm like, we're known for our cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, I'd prefer a caramel roll, but I'll fuck with a cinnamon roll.
Yeah, God, yeah, they are good. Maybe I got to be less closed-minded about cinnamon.
Yeah, open your mind to cinnamon.
Well, it had to be in your days as not a proprietor of an adult entertainment facility, but as an employee. Any dancers named Cinnamon?
Nope, never had a cinnamon.
Is that is also something you just see on TV?
Yep,
that's a name that pops up as a default stripper name.
I'll bet there had to have been a cinnamon that came through those doors. This wasn't some point, memorable. But most of in my time there, most strippers named themselves after gems or gemstones.
Opal.
I don't know that there was an opal. Cars or
opal. Like Australian sedans.
But it was always gems and cars that they couldn't afford, like diamond, sapphire.
Oh God, yeah, that all this sounds
emerald,
like jade,
absolutely,
yeah.
Mercedes or Bentley, or concepts like hope or chastity. Yes, a chastity. Or patience. Like personality traits that are ethereal. Sadly, never a cinnamon.
I'm trying to think of other awesome. Powdered drink mixes.
Oh.
Tang. Nestle Quick.
The idea of
Bosco.
Metamucil.
Metamucil. Yoo-hoo.
Oh, I love the idea of just food named strippers. Buttermilk.
Biscuits. Biscuits sounds like the name of a lovable, dopey dog. Like
I
an
was gonna say
old
horse,
dog.
but okay. Yeah.
Like, Biscuits is an old horse, too. Like, serves no purpose, but you just can't get rid of Biscuits because they've been on the farm for 15 years. Like,
oh, shit.
that was a fascinating glimpse. So it's fancy cars and fancy gemstones.
Yep. Gemstones and cars that you can't afford and ethereal personality traits.
Did you have any dancers that were much like pro wrestlers that just decided no gimmick, real name? Is that a thing?
I know a couple that were real namers.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Just like my name's good enough, this works.
Yep. No gimmick at all.
Yeah.
That brings us to episode 8, The Dad Who Knew Too Little. We start off watching television, and we get crusty on the fake MTV Cribs show called Pads with a Z.
Very of its time. This would have been peak Cribs time.
I remember liking Cribs. I bet now I would look at Cribs and be like, it's so opulent, you assholes.
Like, I always just thought it was a dumb, just buy me a new car.
Right,
I don't need a fucking...
Buy me a used car.
I don't need a laser disc player in my fucking 88 Tercel. Like, give me a better car. Heard you like bobbing for apples, so we now have an apple tank where your trunk and back seat used to be. I guess, man.
Man, if they'd have done Pimp My Crib, if they'd have done the ultimate crossover episode where Exhibit is going to trick out Stefan Marbury's mansion, give me that episode.
Would have been, yeah. What was the CMT one where they trick out tractor trailers?
Jesus, I didn't know that was a thing.
It was.
Like
Trick
trucks?
My Truck? Maybe it was Trick My Truck.
Like a semi-truck?
Yep.
That's awesome.
It'd just be like, my daddy's the best truck driver in Kentucky. I just think he loves Dukes of Hazzard. If we could only get a Dukes of Hazzard themed wraparound paint job on both him and his truck. So just always some insane fucking premise. Like,
holy shit. Man, I didn't know that was a thing. I'd watch that.
Yep, I think it was called Trick My Truck.
If I were making a semi-truck pimping show, I would call it Trick My Truck.
And I think it was successful enough to have more than one season even. So
awesome.
It didn't have a long run, but I bet a couple seasons.
Daddy's going on the internet later.
Yeah.
During this show, we get an advertisement for the Turbo Diary, which is a like high tech, at least for the time, comes with a stylus, and you write on a screen, and it locks, and then can detect unauthorized users and shock them.
I remember as a little kid, I don't know, 7 or 8, buying a girl's diary at a yard sale. And like just thinking, I don't think they wanted to sell this. I just remember I was so young, I could barely read cursive handwriting. That's how little I was. So I was just like, I don't know what this even means. Just trashed it. It was like some young lady was very upset with her mother. What
an insane thing to sell at a garage sale.
Yeah.
If you're going to sell it, tear them pages out.
Yeah. Did you ever own a diary or a journal as a kid?
So I've dabbled in like journaling as an adult. I can never quite get into it. Yeah. I'll throw down a page, but like it's always the question that always comes up in my head is like, to what end? Yep. For what? Mm-hmm. Am I leaving this? Is this to record my thoughts and who cares?
Yeah.
Like, am I leaving this for somebody to read when I'm gone? Mm-hmm. Then, it's. I've always thought it was very silly.
Whoever the city calls to do a controlled burn in my apartment after they find my corpse.
Right. But you also we know a lot about historical things because people journaled it, but it's like, no one 80 years from now is going to wonder what I was thinking about in my 30s, you know? So I'm not into that. I did have a diary as a youth, and I vividly remember it. I can see it in my head because diaries in the 90s, like the early 90s, were not made for little boys.
Oh, they're very feminine.
Diaries were made for little girls. And I had a diary with a hardcover. It was bright purple with script diary written on the front of it.
You sure did.
A heart-shaped plastic padlock.
Terrific.
That you inserted a heart-shaped key into.
Oh, all of this is so wonderful.
Yeah. So that was my diary experience.
16-year-old Marlin just sitting at the table on Thanksgiving, writing his thoughts, and as everyone stares at you. Big loopy dip pen.
I have an inkwell and a quill pen.
Uncle Ronnie, my calligraphy is really quite coming along.
I also did calligraphy in my youth, so yeah. So yes, I fleetingly kept a girl's diary in my room. Boy, I bet that is somewhere on the farm still, and I bet there is money in that thing.
You have to watch each page burn individually,
yes,
so you can prove that
absolutely to make sure that it's gone. Yeah. You ever dabble in the self-writing?
I was told in grad school, like, if you journal, it's good. I'm sure maybe it is good for getting the creative juices flowing, but my whole thing is, what am I going to do with this? Who wants to read it? I know that when I pass, whoever is tasked with it wants that job to be as quick and painless as it's going to be a state-ordered person.
Yeah.
Probably maybe be group homing it by that point.
You may as well save them some trips to the dumpster by not having 80 notebooks filled up.
The nice thing. I whatever fucking insane thoughts, I will write them on the wall. Then they say, oh shit, this guy really thinks the earth is flat. No.
Maybe this is our journaling.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Oh man. That's 4D chest right there. I was going to say 3D, but isn't all chess 3D chess?
Yep, absolutely.
It is.
Sure is.
So yes, this is the mind that you need to write down all of their thoughts.
Right. I need to be buying moleskins to keep this kind of gold in the world.
You're right. You are listening to my diary.
So Lisa wants one of those turbo diaries for her birthday. Homer and Bart go to the mall to buy one, and they're sold out because Burns bought the last one, which is pretty perfect.
Yep.
The only appearance of Mr. Burns in all of season 14 so far.
Yeah, I
We're
was going to
8
mention
episodes
that too.
in, and he's on screen for 10 seconds.
There's a word for that. Troubling.
As goes Burns, so goes the quality of this show. Mm-hmm. I am learning. So Homer and Bart are dejected. What are we going to get for Lisa? They stumble upon Ned and that god-awful mall kiosk movie that he made for Rod, which is so good.
Yeah.
I never saw one of those things in my youth. I'd have loved it in my youth.
Yeah.
Like upload a picture and say the lines that need saying and then be like, you're in the movie.
That probably cost $75 to what now can be done in 3 minutes with a jib jab.
Yep. Or fucking Snapchat. Like any 10-year-old can make that today and make it better and for free.
I am trying to think of, when I think of things like that, I remember like people having like a picture of their kid or like as a family, like kind of like a fun, it'd be like an old West looking style picture, like on a wanted poster.
Oh, sure.
Like that must be like, is that a county fair thing or where?
Maybe county fairs. I know, like, I'm trying to think of like historical tourist traps. Like,
good call.
Like, I bet you can get one of those in Medora if you want it.
Yep,
like,
that's
maybe not
exactly.
because none of the clothes are going to fit either of us.
Yeah.
So that might be troublesome.
Or I'm just thinking too, just like old, there's like a picture of you, but the background looks funny and like they put it in a shitty paper frame with a glass cover, and you pay $20 for it.
Yeah, or look, it looks like a newspaper.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Yeah,
like that kind of free-form bad photoshopping of the early 2000s. Homer thinks this is amazing because of course he does, and thinks Lisa will love it, so he buys her one of these fucking "You're in the Movies" movie, and it's made clear as Lisa's watching it that Homer doesn't know anything about Lisa, because like every time he had to say something to insert like, oh, your favorite food, he gets it wrong, or favorite this, favorite that. He doesn't know shit about Lisa. So Lisa, kind of fucking devastated by her dad's botched birthday present and not knowing anything about her. So his fucking idea, Moe gives him the number. He's complaining to Moe about what's he gonna do. Moe slides him the number of a private detective, and let him learn about Lisa, and then you'll know all the sorts of things about Lisa.
I remember when I first moved either to Nashville. No, I think it was actually Fargo. Old timey enough, you still got a phone book. I remember looking in the back in the yellow part where you can look at businesses.
Oh, sure.
And being baffled that you had more than one option in a city the size of Fargo for private detectives.
Huh. You think you still do? You think are PIs still a thing?
I bet they are. If they were in 2001, they are now, I bet.
Huh. We should get a PI and hire him to sleuth out one of our mutual friends just for fun. Just to see what they come back with. Not because we're trying to find dirt, but just to see if there is dirt.
Someone told me once it's not as exciting as you think. It's 95, if not more, % of it is just philandering spouses. Just like,
oh, sure.
Who is my husband fucking?
Yeah.
Is basically what they do for a living. I was also baffled, multiple PIs and multiple magicians. I was like, there's more than one man in this town paying a mortgage with magic? That's amazing to me.
Oh, that fella rents. He lives in an apartment.
Might live at home.
Sure.
Or lives in a camper with another magician. I think there was 3 active magicians. We have I repeat, active magician at the corner of Penn and 36.
Oh, God.
All officers in the area, active magician.
Put down the scarves. I can't. They're all tied together up my sleeve. Pap, 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 pap.
Pigeons everywhere.
This is a sad birthday party. I don't know what it is, because it's like modern and not something from my youth, but when I think of a private detective, like in this context of what you think of a gumshoe PI to be, I think of Jessica Jones, the Marvel comic and TV series. With Kristen Ritter.
I didn't know what direction you were going there.
But I do like seeing the classic noir PI detective that we get here as well. Just like the smoking a cigarette in a fucking tiny office.
Maltese Falcon, Sam Spade, or whatever his name was.
Talking about it's always about a dame. But for whatever reason, that classic has been reprinted with Jessica Jones for whatever reason.
Like
maybe it's because season 1 of Jessica Jones is some of the best shit Marvel's ever done.
I've heard that.
It's so good. Season 2's garbage, but season 1 is magic.
Like 6 or 7 years ago, but we've had a lot of yard sale talk so far in this spot. I was at a yard sale.
Yeah,
that is true.
This is your journal, so.
Yeah. I am a slightly less feral Charlie Day. What's his character's name?
Charlie.
It's okay, yeah. I'm all about trash that I can get for cheap or for free.
Trash and bargains.
Yeah, I found at a yard sale a collection, like 10 cents each, of these like 1940s pulp fiction paperback private detective novels in pristine, like had to be on the same bookshelf for 50 years, and like phenomenal reads. I couldn't believe how like they're just like, I savor it. Like I don't want to plow, because they're 250 pages. So you can plow through them quick because they're entertaining. I savor them. Like, okay, I gotta pace myself. Gotta keep saving these because they're eventually gonna run out. But yeah, man, I just remember the name John D. McDonald for our reader friends out there. That sounds like he was one of the authors, and fucking I remembered the name. He wrote the intro to the first Stephen King short story collection in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
He gave it like an endorsement.
I've only read one of, I think the only thing I've ever read that is of this ilk is I read one of the Parker books, which I think has come up on the podcast before. Like Statham played him in a movie.
Oh, okay.
But Parker was like a long running series of like detective / noir / crime novels. And I read one of those and liked it, but that's the extent of my, like, I've never seen the Maltese Falcon. I don't think I've ever seen anything that is of this like noir PI that is genuine. I think I've only seen it satirized or referenced.
One thing I'd again take to change the subject, but you know what? I don't. This podcast is all about and quick changes. There's a scene where Homer ends up eating a pair of pants, and he goes, "Well, still tastes better than Indian food."
Yep, I wrote that down as well because you and I both staunch Indian food supporters.
Like, I don't even get the joke. I think Indian food might be known to have a very strong smell. I don't think anyone, even in like the most lowbrow comedy, jokes that Indian food isn't delish, right? Maybe? I don't know.
Like, I bristled at this. I was just like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Indian food is outstanding.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Like, it is at the very least, like, the lowest, worst thing you can say about Indian food is that it's interesting or different.
Yep.
Like, but it is never boring. It is never bad. Indian food is always good at worst.
Yeah, rarely is it bland. It usually
never bland.
If anything, it aims too high.
It swings for the fences for sure.
It's a big flavor profile.
Big flavors really fill the room. We've talked about it before, but Ethiopian food has eclipsed Indian food as number one with a bullet over here.
Also a tasty treat.
Mm-hmm. So the PI is collecting clues about Lisa, and he puts it all together in a report, and now Homer knows everything about Lisa. He plays her favorite album. He goes to like an animal rights protest with her at an animal testing facility. And then the PI gives him the bill, and Homer doesn't want to pay it. Which, of course, you have to pay this man, Homer.
Yeah.
But he's not into that. So now we have a jilted PI who's looking for revenge on Homer. He does so by framing Lisa, by planting clues that he had collected.
Very devious.
Yeah. So he like ransacks that animal testing place and leaves the clues that he had collected to point back at Lisa, including a book report on the secret garden by Lisa Simpson. Like it's just written in big letters on the front.
There's a good scene with Wiggum and the deputies are like, well, what do you think, Chief? He's like, well, apparently there's a secret garden
in all of us as he's flipping through it. Yeah. So Homer and Lisa are on the lam. They take off. They dye their hair with shoe black. And Homer has maybe my favorite fake name, which is Lance Uppercut.
Yeah.
Holy shit, did I laugh at Lance Uppercut. They're staying in a motel. Homer calls home to check in with Marge. The cops trace the call. Homer comes clean about everything with Lisa, about how he hired this PI because he didn't know anything about her, and Lisa's upset. The cops show up at the motel, and they run off. And then they come across the circus, and the PI is there because, of course, he is. And he fires a man out of a cannon into Homer.
That was a good sight gag, too.
Yeah. And then Homer runs into the House of Mirrors. I've never seen a man fired from a cannon or been in a House of Mirrors in real life.
I've been like through some kind of thing where there's like goofy mirrors. The ones that make you wider or narrower. I've been through that. But I don't know if I've ever been through like a room of mirrors that's super disorientating.
Yeah, like Man with the... fuck, you haven't seen Bond movies.
Yeah.
Man with the Golden Gun kind of culminates in a House of Mirrors.
Conan the Conqueror. Is it the second Conan movie? He's in
there's a House of Mirrors. It's not like a carnival, but there's this scene with a lot of mirrors.
He kills somebody or something.
Conan on the Big Top. He slices up the guy who makes the cinnamon almonds.
The lamentations of the cinnamon almond man. The daughters of the cinnamon almond man will be heard far and wide.
Conan the Destroyer. Not
There we go. Okay, I was wondering. I knew I wasn't getting it right. Yeah.
Yeah, it just hit me.
Yeah.
So Homer and the PI are kind of playing cat and mouse in the House of Mirrors, and Lisa blinds him with a laser pointer that she had gotten from Bart earlier.
And I forgot to mention it. Boy, you want to talk about being of its time? Christmas 2002. Odds are, if you had a step uncle that just got divorced and was someone you got the misfortune he chose your name, best believe you're getting a laser pointer that he bought at a gas station.
For fucking
Every
sure.
gas station could have been powered on the heat by the laser pointers in the kiosk or the little turnstile thing by the cash registers.
Yep.
Laser pointer fever had taken over America in 2002.
I never had one, but they were fucking everywhere.
I was technically an adult, and I had gotten 3 just because I had like younger cousins. Say, hey, I bought every kid a laser pointer. I was like, fuck it, I ain't gonna say no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
immediately pointed in someone's eye. Yeah.
Or give it a brisk cardio workout, depending if you're an optimist.
Yeah, cats love it, and you can really get a cat moving with a fucking laser pointer. I've always thought laser cat toys to be a little on the cruel side because they can't catch it.
Yeah.
You know? So you end up just turning it off, and they're like, what the fuck? I had it. I swear to God I had it.
Yeah.
For me, the proliferation of laser pointers came from professional wrestling. Good Lord, did everyone have a laser pointer pointed at every wrestler all the time.
No shit. Okay.
Go back now and watch like WWF events from this time. Like, the Undertaker's making his dramatic entrance in the dark, covered in red dots.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Really? That makes sense.
Wrestling fans loved laser pointers.
That is just exact. If you want to sum up a professional wrestling fan, it's owns a laser pointer that they purchased themselves.
Yeah, not a gift from an uncle.
Yeah. God, yeah.
I never had, to this day, have never owned a laser pointer.
Right now, we probably have literal tons of laser pointers filling our landfills. There's got to be something inside those we don't want to
batteries mostly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's good to know. That's what's going to be entering the water table pretty soon. Laser pointer juice. Well, I don't want to steal the thunder. We're getting close to the end, but I got a couple hot takes.
Oh, boy.
Things I thought were very funny.
That's the kind of where my recap of the episode ends. Like, she takes him down in the House of Mirrors, and Homer and Lisa have their wholesome family moment, and that's kind of the end of the episode.
Yeah, you're right. That is kind of like there's no more plot points really after that. A couple quick things that I enjoy. One thing to mention, just as we're getting to the end of arcades being part of storylines, we have a VHS tape as part of this.
Oh, yeah. The one made in the mall.
Not going to be a whole lot more of them.
2002, yeah.
That'll get into the end of
We were
that.
still buying VHS tapes in 2002 for sure.
I would have... This had been the very end. I got my first DVD player I would have had it fall of 2002.
Huh. Well, look at you.
I got a DVD player and I bought The Thing,
Good first choice.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and Smashing Pumpkins music video collection all on DVD.
Nice.
I remember being so fucking jacked. And then at a yard sale a year prior God damn it. How many yards? I need to reevaluate everything.
The fucking Doc Brown expression that you just had.
I want you to know, dear listener, we do not get here at 10 a.m. and make plot points of how many garage sale. This is all stream of consciousness. But I was at a yard sale that legit, I could get my friend on the phone. He would tell you exactly. It looked like the aftermath of an F5 tornado. It's like, they don't need help. They're selling things. We got to see what this is. And in a sea of rusty hubcaps, I could see it reflected because it was like chrome. I walk in, again, tetanus is a constant threat at this yard sale. I'm tiptoeing. I see the Alien quadrilogy in a box set, and this woman who had just enough teeth to make a whistling sound when she talked strides up to me and goes, I am not fucking exaggerating. Them's there are DVDs. I was just like, what could this amazing invention be? I'm like, I know, lady. And she's like, I'm like, how much? She's like, $10. And I think she thought that was going to scare me away. Like I would have to call so many different levels of family members to scrounge up $10. But it's like, fucking sold. I probably still own that somewhere.
DVDs.
So them's there are DVDs. like shit, like I'm in some kind of weird reverse, oh God, whatever that Antiques Roadshow, where the goblin has to explain to the city boy.
What did she think you thought was in there?
I don't know, but
is there really aliens in this box?
She had some weird relative that just skipped out and I'm probably stole all the copper out of the walls, but left the stolen DVDs in a backpack. So here's her a way to recoup some of her copper losses.
And I've never seen them, but from what I understand, only 2 of those movies are any good. So they were $5 a piece. Good for you.
I would say in Aliens, my favorite movie of all time. Alien, top 10 movie of all time.
Sure.
Alien 3, I think, has its merits.
Does it? I've never seen 3 and 4. I've only ever heard bad things.
4 is a bad, because 4 was the first one I was old enough to be able to go to a movie by myself.
Sure.
So I got so excited to see an Alien movie in the theater and was fucking heartbroken by how bad it was. Watching it now, as a fan of the Alien mythos, if that's the right word, I enjoy parts of it. Still bad movie. Bad movie.
Yeah.
Made by a kind of like a French auteur, just wasn't the right pick.
Yeah, not Ridley,
it's
right?
Silly. It's like the design is silly at times. Like it's made by the guy that did oh my God, Amelie.
Yeah.
And then he did maybe City of Lost Children, some other weird, more mystical realism type thing. So yeah, it's why him? David Fincher for Alien 3, it was his first movie, but he had the right look.
Sure.
The look of that movie wasn't the issue, if that makes sense. So yeah. And James Cameron made Aliens. He makes giant kick-ass action shit.
Sigourney Weaver in all 4 of those?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on Prometheus? Since we're down this alien road, we might as well go.
I don't dislike it like a lot of Aliens people do. There are a couple hot takes. So the few movies I've ever been to that I thought should be longer. That's rare for me. I usually want short. I thought they tried to tackle too much for one movie. It's you need another half hour of exposition to explain some of the shit. And here's my thought. I would have loved that movie if it had nothing to do with Alien. It all felt forced. That whole fucking xenomorph thing. God, I just said xenomorph. Fuck. Can virginity grow back? Because there's a chance. My boy Hyman's popping back.
There's a hermetic saran seal that just reformed over your hog.
But I think that the xenomorph things at the end seem so tacked on. And then also, I think they could have lost the whole original alien ship that from because I thought it's a cool concept that hey, we've discovered, we think there's a alien, because it's the premise is it's right when we're first getting space. It's in the near future, and we're just getting spaceships strong enough to go to the moons of Saturn, and they find this thing. And the idea that we have traced back this thing we found is the beginning of humanity, and it turns out we were created by a sentient race who's coming to kill us because we have failed. Because it just works on a way slower time, 2,000-year increments.
Sure.
We sent you a savior. You guys fucking crucified him. So once Larry finishes up the Andromeda fucking, planet range, he's going to come here and ice you fucking goobers.
Yeah.
So I just think that's a cool premise. It's but the whole alien thing just seemed forced.
It's I don't hold Alien in the high regard that you do. I like those movies, 1 and 2, but I won't fucking stab somebody for them. So I saw Prometheus and thought I feel like I'm missing a lot of things. Probably because I'm not an Alien super fan. But the rest of it, I was I don't like how this looks or plays out, or I think this is very dry. Michael Fassbender sure is great. Wish he was on screen more, and that was kind of boy, I sure don't care for this lady who's the lead, kind of.
And I think too, it would have been good that. This organism we found is this super advanced, basically biological weapon. oh, this is how we're going to end your planet. We're going to drop some of this ooze, and it's going to grow, and it's going to infect people. It's going to turn them into monsters, and that's how it all ends.
Let me tell you about a movie that gets ooze right. Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze really has some answers for you.
Was that what the giant snapping turtle is? What the ooze?
Are you talking about Razor and Toka?
What's Toka?
Toka's a wolf.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have seen.
I might have that backwards on which one is which. No, I think Toka's the wolf and Razor is the snapping
You're right,
turtle.
Right. I had a friend that owned the toy of Razor.
And then at the end, spoiler alert, Shredder drinks the ooze and turns into Super Shredder, played by Kevin Nash.
Oh yeah, God, yeah.
Vanilla Ice sings Ninja Rap.
Ninja.
It's a perfect film.
Yeah, that's a bold take, but that's what you're here for, dear listeners. It's our bold takes.
Even better than Fievel Goes West somehow.
I better squirt out the last of my hot takes on episode 8 here.
Gross.
Holy shit! I think it's Homer and Lisa. Are they eating at Moe's? And Moe. I'm trying to think, but Moe at some point goes, maybe someday I'll turn into a swan. Like he's making the leftovers.
He makes the leftover tinfoil swan, yeah.
Tone of voice he delivers that line. And then he just goes, oh, God. Like, he realized, he's never going to be a swan. And then one of my favorite things in any episode we've seen in a while, it's Lisa and Homer are on the lam, and Marge and Bart and Maggie are at home, and Marge is justifiably nervous. Her 8-year-old child and dim-witted husband are on the run from the law.
Yeah.
And Bart senses all the pressure on Marge, so he fucking throws a bowl of spaghetti in the ceiling fan, and it just fucking chaos as one would have if you were to throw spaghetti. And Marge, thank you so like the genuine thanks that
she's so grateful to have something to take her mind off of this. Yeah.
And then Maggie just pushes hers off the table too. That's such a good scene. It's like from a long, it's like a whole room shot.
Yeah.
Just right into the goddamn
just
fan.
flings it up and everything's immediately
and it gets like
mess.
a cheery tone of voice, like, here you go, Mom. Why, thank you, Bart.
Yeah, the genuine gratitude in her voice. Just, thank you so much, Bart, for giving me a chore to keep my mind off of all this. Yeah, just hucks that spaghetti in the ceiling fan.
I definitely found that as an enjoyable episode.
Yeah, that was a good one. I was into that one. Lance Uppercut.
Good hotel.
So
if you're
fucking good.
At a shady hotel where you still just write your name into a ledger, Lance Uppercut.
I'm staying at a hotel this weekend, a couple of them, and I will see if I can use Lance Uppercut.
So we're up to episode 9, The Strong Arms of the Maw. This week, another Rainier Wolfcastle. That's a lot of Rainier for a 5-episode batch.
Yeah, he's been in it.
I can't remember why they mentioned he's having a fucking yard sale. I think you wrap your brain around it a little quicker than I did. He's having a garage sale at the Wolfcastle house. Does it mention what his financial reasoning is behind it? He just
said he's gone bankrupt. He's not in movies like he used to be, I think. We learn about that, by the way, on Eye on Springfield.
Yeah, I haven't seen in a while.
Not seen in a long time.
Yeah. So you get a few gags, none of them too memorable, of just the random.
Not really. There's one where like Homer is digging through his drawers and stuff, and Rainier's watching him, and he's just like, he says something along the lines of, "Do you need assistance rifling through the picked clean bones of my once great life?" Or it says something super depressing like that. That was pretty funny.
Damn right. And how he's just okay with it. Yep. That's whatever you want to do. I'm so defeated at this point.
Yeah.
It's like,
Bart finds a cane sword, like pulls the sword out of the cane. He's like, "Whoa, this cane is a sword." And Rainier Wolfcastle goes, "Yes, everything on this table is swords. This pineapple," he's just pulling swords out of all these boring daily items.
That was a
funny.
good visual gag.
Yeah, even this pineapple, and pulls a sword out of it.
So, and then the whole thing is, I think it's that they buy so much shit that they struggle to get it all in the car.
Yeah, and we get that great Tetris joke with the music.
Yep.
I loved it. As somebody who loves and is bad at Tetris.
I'm not a big video game guy. Pretty goddamn good at Tetris.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. I mean, I would need to practice to get back into the swing of things. I'm a pretty good Tetris player. So Marge ends up having to drive. Is she alone or with Maggie? I can't remember how, or with Lisa.
It's everybody but Homer. They can't.
Oh, he has to stay.
Only Homer can't fit in the car.
So
Rainier fucking hauls him home in that giant baby Bjorn.
Yeah, that's what it is. He all cuddles up. Yeah. So Marge is on the way home, has to stop at the Quickie Mart where she gets mugged and becomes so traumatized that she develops agoraphobia.
She fucking. That scene of her just like breaking down in the car afterwards is like weirdly like, whoa, okay, Simpsons. Too real.
By a mugger in a Goofy hat? Is that what that's supposed to be?
Goofy of Disney fame. Yep. So the bill is like his face and it has the teeth poking down off the bill.
There was a very...
Takes Marge's necklace in the process.
Yep, rips the big red pearl things that she has
and
on.
A Martha Wayne in Crime Alley vibe to it of the broken pearls.
And yet kind of just starts hiding in the basement. Can't leave the house. Also kind of too real at times. Like
Mace's Ralphie also.
Yeah. Oh. And one of my favorite things, them making that fucking makeshift Quickie Mart in the house for Marge to practice.
Absolutely.
Lisa's a fucking make a scene stand. I
joke,
can't write parts for women.
I laughed so fucking hard at that joke. Because like Bart is dressed as Apu. They have they've drawn a slushy machine on the side of this cardboard box. And then Lisa I'm a magazine rack. Just holding magazines out at arm's length.
Yeah. So they try their best. That doesn't really help because Marge tries and fails to go back outside. And she's sitting in the basement and she sees that weight set. It was like Rainier's first weight set that got him
his
ripped.
First weight set.
And right away, Marge is like, why did Homer waste his money on this? No one's going to use these. But until she does, she's bored in the basement. So she starts working out, becomes kind of ripped enough where she's able to leave the basement, where she eventually runs into her mugger and kicks the ever-loving shit out of him. Like,
so good.
Really, really lets him have it. Oh, one thing I found in that scene right there is if you look at the crowd of bystanders, you'll see the one-armed guy that owns the Army surplus shop.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, you don't see him much.
I haven't seen him much at all.
Can you bring that name up from the old memory bank? I can't think of it.
No, I don't know his name.
I know he has one, but I can't think of it.
I feel like that's a lot of The Simpsons. I feel like Squeaky Voice Mr. Teenager Guy has a name, and fucked if I know.
And on the subject of characters we see every 7 years, we get a Ruth Powers talking part where it turns out she has gotten into bodybuilding.
I have written here in all caps, Ruth.
Ruth convinces Marge to continue to work out and to start taking steroids.
Hell yeah, she gets on the gas.
Get the cream and the clear. Holy. What a reference that's going to be now. Like, that's going back to the early steroid scandal in baseball.
Oh, boy.
Barry Bonds was on the cream and the clear.
You ever flirted with dancing with the
getting yoked?
Steroids?
No, I'm all natural.
Attaboy.
Body by, this is what the Lord wanted. This is what you shall receive. Who am I to defy his perfect design? That's Adonis form.
It's been probably close to 10 years now, but I know a guy who could get you what you needed. And I once, about 10 years ago, not with any seriousness, I was never going to do this, but asked just out of curiosity, like, how much would it cost? And like, he told me for a 1 month cycle, about $4,000.
No.
So apparently steroids are fucking expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Fascinating. I never would have guessed.
I guess that's why all these like independent wrestlers are all skinny and then they get big when they go to the big time.
Were they robbing fucking veterinarian offices and getting fucking horse tranquilizers? Or not? I mean, like
horse
HGH?
Horse,
yeah, like
horse GH.
HGH.
Both H's stand for horse. Horse growth horse.
Yeah. So that's how did the wrestlers back in the day afford it? I wonder, huh?
Because it was all the fucking big time guys that were on the juice.
Yeah, but
Hogan could afford it.
There was territory guys that were ripped though too.
I suppose maybe it wasn't that much back then. Maybe it's inflation.
Well, you know what it was? Wrestling was just more financially viable.
True.
You know, like
also they didn't have any other bills because they never went home.
yeah, good point. Yeah,
They had gas and juice.
their body was literally their temple.
Yeah.
They're building they were turning into human garages, just getting bigger and bigger. So Marge decides she starts using steroids. There's a good line. I think it's after Marge. Does she pick up the ass end of the bus to keep it from leaving?
Yeah.
And Nelson comes over the seat to Lisa and Bart. Ha ha, your mom changed. My favorite Nelson laugh so far.
That was funny.
And we got to talk about it. Later that night, Marge...
Go ahead.
Rapes Homer? Pretty sure that would be the proper use of that word. So yeah, that was something. That was
really, really just takes it.
Yeah.
Really just takes what she's after.
He is not interested, and she is not interested in him not being interested.
She is not taking no for an answer.
Nope, she is not.
And she is yoked, and he is not.
PSA. Take no for an answer. I don't think we have to tell people that.
Yeah.
Like, people coming here for life advice, but also stay away from steroids while we're at it too.
I think you can probably dabble and be okay.
Okay. There we go. Well, until your wife has got you in a hammerlock. So it kind of comes to a head one night at Moe's when she loses her temper and just goes fucking Donkey Kong.
Kicks the shit out of these people.
Yeah, it is Roadhouse style bar violence. And yeah, destroys everyone that Homer is friends with and the establishment.
Yeah,
and
wrecks the shit out of Moe's bar.
And then Homer confronts Marge, just mentions that he kind of misses the sweet woman that he fell in love with. And really, holler if I'm missing some, just she kind of realizes the monster she's become. She apologizes and just agrees to stop working out.
Yeah, she throws the weights in the furnace downstairs, which doesn't make a lick of sense. That they have this raging open fire of a furnace and that she's throwing barbells into them. Like, doesn't make a lick of sense. But yeah, he just kind of talks her down, mellows her out.
Yeah, I got a kick out of that too.
Yeah. The, slightly buff Marge was like, okay, good for her. But like super roid rage fucking American Gladiators Marge was not a fun thing to look at. Yeah. Something about like, oh, you got some muscle. That looks good. But then like the fucking Mr. Universe ultra bodybuilding shit, I think always looks so gross.
I remember reading an article about people that got really into bodybuilding. And then I guess that amongst like the male bodybuilding community, there's a lot of respect for the women that get hard into it because they know the amount of work that goes into it. Plus, they know the stigma that a woman has if you want to look like fucking Dick Butkus. You know, it's not the traditional shape of a woman, so they understand. It's like, hey, I know what is like respect. You know, we both got the love of the pump.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like I look at it and I'm like, boy, that's super impressive that you can look like that.
Have the dedication.
Be it man or woman, just like, hey, good for you. That was clearly your goal and you did it. But it's like, I always think like, oh, they're super fucking vascular and shit. I'm always like, you got too many veins. I don't quite know what's going on. Yeah.
Not my cup of tea, but you know what? Hey, if it makes you happy, if it gives you self-confidence, get fucking jacked.
Get it.
Fucking throw dumpsters around.
What the fuck do I know? Because I think like a rad, awesome physique is like the Metrics World's Strongest Man, where they all just look like a fucking 6'8" bearded gummy bear who can throw a keg a mile and a half.
That's what you jerk off to. Got the 2022 Burly Boy calendar in early. Look at that fucking Omaha Ficky kicking over a Dr. Pepper machine. Those bib overalls can barely contain him.
Whew.
Getting your mail, seeing that catalog. Can I make it back to my apartment, or I gotta risk it all and blast one here quick? Broad daylight.
Look at this Icelandic motherfucker with his foot-thick ankles huck a fucking sledgehammer through a boat.
That boat's fucked, am I right? Get out of the entryway, sir.
Oh, holy shit.
Good episode.
Yeah, good one. Solid. I enjoyed it. I think depending on the order things aired in, this might have been the 300th episode.
Oh, we're right around there. Yep.
Apparently, it's like there's some... I looked up real quick. Apparently, there's some manner of disagreement on which was actually the 300th episode. It all seems like real dumb shit to argue about to me, but... Whew.
Fuck. Like, you get in the mail, and putting it on top, and then just calmly taking your pants off, folding them up, and putting them on top of the mailboxes.
Well, I guess this is going to be a stander in the entryway, huh?
Holy fuck. Walking down the hallway, turning the corner, there's a grown man in a t-shirt, nothing else. Forearm against the glass door, other hand just cranking one out. Eye level with you. Guess I'm taking the side door. Oh, good times.
Oh, the metrics calendar came today. Sorry.
See, you're not going to believe these guys.
You're going to have to use a different door. Yeah. Sorry about what your dog had to see here today. Whew. Holy shit.
Taking that dog to a pet psychologist and trying to explain that scenario. Well, French fries was always skittish.
Just having to write out the "Why are you here today?" I saw
My Pomeranian saw the neighbor blasted in the entryway to large bearded weightlifters.
Oh, my obese neighbor was caught cranking it in the entryway to powerlifters.
Is it caught when he wasn't trying to hide?
Well, those are the questions we're here to solve at the Pet Psychiatrist.
Let's unpack this.
Holy shit. One more episode. Episode 10 is Pray Anything. The gang is at a WNBA game, not often represented on television, so I was happy to see it. Especially being up in this area where the Minnesota Lynx are rad and great at basketball.
And in a area where literally nothing else is sports-wise.
Yep. Which is like some manner of grand irony, you know? Like, your football team, never going to cut it. Your baseball team, never going to cut it. Hockey team, nope.
Yep.
Women's basketball, you fucking killing it.
Yep. And I think, though, that rose may have lost its bloom now.
Oh, really? Is that fading out?
Some of the stars they had have aged out or retired.
Lost some links?
Yep.
Do you have missing links?
There's some missing links. That's a hot button subject, I don't think. This is
but a good joke is a good joke.
This is the podcast where Marlin gets into eugenics. Do you see here on this PowerPoint?
Nope, put that away.
Yeah. Technical difficulties.
I like that they bring out, in order to appeal to the male fans, they have a sexy basketball mascot. It's just a giant basketball with fishnets and high heels.
Yeah, like garters and fishnets,
Yeah, dancing around all sexy like Mo is super into it, and then the ball comes off and it's fucking Gil under there. Because of course it is.
It sure is.
And Mo, true to form, is just like, put the basketball back on. Like, he's not deterred at all.
I can work with this. There's a good line too where Marge is like, Bart, you're a little young to be growling at 7-foot tall Chinese ladies. Because early on the WME, there was, I think the tallest woman was that she was like 6'8" or 6'9". She was from China.
Oh, okay.
I think she was the tallest and then there was a 7'2" Polish lady that towered. I think
that's a tall human, regardless of gender.
Yeah.
That's a huge human
and
being.
I think, and she was the number 1 overall pick. I think she was an all right, obviously defensively,
Sure.
I don't think I can play zone defense in WME, but she blocked a bazillion shots. Never developed really. And how uncoordinated do you think she was? Like,
right. Yeah.
And she died young. She died like in her 30s.
Jesus.
Because you're just. Men's bodies shouldn't be 7'2". What do you think what it does to a woman's heart to have to pump blood down to limbs that long?
Yeah.
Like, not meant long for this earth.
Yeah, super tall people, not usually. You don't see a lot of really old ones.
Yeah, don't see many 95-year-old 7-foot people.
Yeah.
God, I was just going to mention too. I think now Brittany Griner. I think she's 6'9". I think she's been the tallest.
That's a good name too.
I think if she's not the tallest, she's probably the tallest good player.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there's some goddamn shit show that's 6'10" that rides the bench. Maybe someday you'll learn how to play basketball.
Rather than just be. But it's amazing that, and this goes for men too, obviously, how good you can be at basketball by just being tall and not being good at all.
Yeah, it's kind of disappeared from the NBA game. The game's actually gotten smaller, which is weird. But yeah, especially back like in the Shaq era or in prior, you just needed 7-foot guys to throw at the other team's 7-footer and use up those 6 fouls.
Yeah, all you had to be was tall.
Yep. Joe Klein built a career, played like 16 years, being big and tough.
Yeah.
Just okay. I'll go in there. I won't back down. I'll foul out of the game. I will score 1 point and get 3 rebounds and go sit back down. My chair will still be warm.
What do you do for a living? I am professionally tall.
I get ran into by Shaquille O'Neal and have generational wealth because of it. What a world.
What? America. Yeah. Ned is sitting in the lucky seat. He gets to take a try at the $50,000 half-court shot. He fucking granny shoots it and makes it, of course.
Yep.
Loudly proclaims that he's going to donate that $50,000, and then the rootin' tootin' Wildcat Texas oil man shows up and says, well, then here's a check for $100,000, and rootin' toots his way out of there.
So great.
So Homer, of course, not thrilled. Like, Homer's very sour and very jealous in this one about Ned, because everything goes right for Ned. Ned is super lucky. Ned has everything. Homer's just super jealous. Finally just asks Ned what it is that he's doing, and Ned lets him know that prayer is the answer. Ned prays for things, and the Lord provides.
Yeah. Thanks, the Lord.
So Homer gives it a shot, starts pretty small, can't find the TV remote, prays to find it, and finds it.
Yeah.
And so now Homer's a praying man.
Yeah.
And we get quite a few different gags of him just praying for something and it coming true. Says a prayer and then gets the thing. One of which I think was won't you please deliver unto me a new snack? And then right in front of him while he's driving, a fudge truck collides with a bacon truck. And now he has fudge-covered bacon and loves it. Not a fan of sweet bacon. Not a fan of like a candied bacon, like a maple bacon. No.
Yeah. I'll eat it. I mean, I'll try it. It's one of those things like I eat once every 5 years because I don't purchase it,
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I can eat this.
You're just somewhere that has some.
Yep.
Not my jam. His pipes are clogged and his drywall is falling apart. There's like a weird like turn. Like suddenly things are falling apart at the Simpson house.
Yeah, and we get Homer complaining how much of a dump their house is, which it's not.
It's not. Like, I get that if all the drywall fell off one of the kitchen walls, you might think that, for sure. I get it. But things are okay, Homer. He's on his way to church and falls in a hole, and he's going to sue the church because he fell in a hole. And wouldn't you know it, he wins. They don't have any money, but he gets the church in the settlement. That's his reward for winning the suit, is he gets the church. We get Homer living in the church, dancing his ass off to I Was Made for Lovin' You by Kiss, which is not amongst my favorite Kiss songs.
Yeah, this is, I know, amongst some, because like it was their just in total Kiss just a sad, pathetic attempt at cashing in on disco.
Yeah,
I like the song though.
Do you?
Yeah, if I hear them, goddamn right, I'm slapping the steering wheel.
Like, I'll take my Paul Stanley vocals where I can get them, but that is not my favorite way to consume
really?
Kiss.
Oh, yep. Don't mind it at all.
Yeah, not my jam. There's an AA meeting happening in the community room attached to the church, and Homer kicks them all out because it's his church now.
And see who's still sober?
Motherfucking Barney.
They
still
are keeping with this multi-seasons.
Even though he did have a beer in that one episode, just to prove that he could without falling back into old Barney ways.
Look at him go. Yeah,
still at it. I have a Barney question for you coming up in just a moment. They decide they're going to have a great big housewarming party at the church. Ends up like going on for days on end. They're really partying hard in the church.
Just drinking a lot of room temp tap beer at that point.
Yep. Lovejoy has moved his preaching down to the bowling alley.
That was a nice visual.
Which has some great fantastic visual jokes of like him trying to preach over the sound of a bowling alley because there's no such thing as a quiet bowling alley. And like he catches a fucking ball in the shin, like getting all messed up. Here's my question. The bowling alley is called Barney's Bowling Alley. Does our Barney, own the bowling alley?
I don't think so. I just think that would have been explained to us at some point.
But what are the odds that two people in this town have the same name? That doesn't happen on television.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen in TV or movies.
I wonder if that was, the reasoning behind it. Why would they not have mentioned that yet?
Well, I mean, maybe they just haven't gotten to it yet. There's 800 seasons of this show.
I'm going coincidence.
Different Barney?
Put it up on the marker board, different Barney.
Okay, we'll see. Maybe someday we'll learn the truth. Lovejoy has had enough of this and heads out of town. So he's taken off. Ned, distressed, of course. Marge not into all of this like blasphemous behavior because Marge always a little more buttoned up than Homer, obviously. Yeah. She's not into the fact that we're having multi-day parties at the church. And Homer is motherfucking struck by lightning.
That was good.
Which is
a good visual.
Pretty good sign. So Homer is struck by lightning, and then a great flood hits Springfield because God is mad, I guess. And Homer and all of his buddies are up on the roof of the church while the floodwaters rise, and they're about to all turn on Homer. God's mad at Homer to fucking give him what he wants. When motherfucking Reverend Lovejoy shows up in the chopper like a goddamn action hero.
Yep.
And tells God to leave Homer alone. He's just an idiot who made a mistake, and prays for Homer, and the rain stops.
Yeah, I like the Lovejoy returning to save the day.
Yeah, me too. Like action hero Lovejoy, I was pretty into.
We've gotten that one once before.
On the train, the miniature train saving, is it Ned?
Ned, because Ned kind of loses faith, I think.
Yeah. That may be my least favorite episode of the batch.
Mine too.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't insultingly bad, but it was
felt like kind of weak framework.
Yep.
It felt like we only had like 3 outline points and then just had to fill to get to all of them.
I would say weak. There's just some weak jokes. A lot of just weak everything around. Like there's a joke like where it's something like, I don't know. It just felt out of place where it's Lenny and Carl. And I like the idea of like Carl worshiping a deer head that he found at Lenny's Lenny's dad shot. But then he just like sit there like, oh wow, how wasted am I? It's like, well, that line just should have been edited out. It didn't Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just being nitpicky, but yeah, wasn't that good of an episode. But again, wasn't like, I don't have the Mel Gibson level of ire that I had 4 seasons ago, however long that's been now.
Yeah, I ain't mad at it. It just wasn't my favorite of the week. So,
yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with this batch. I thought it was fine.
all in all, pretty decent batch.
Yeah.
I really liked the Marge bodybuilding one. I really liked the Lisa and Homer on the Run one.
Yeah, I got a kick out of that.
Good batch. Good batch.
Yeah, that goddamn bowl of spaghetti into the ceiling fan.
What a fucking mess.
Oh, couldn't you imagine?
Also, your mother would have stabbed you. She'd have reached across the table and stuck you in the neck.
There is a picture
Mine
of me
would have too.
as a little kid having just mushed my face into the spaghetti. And someone, I'm sure a paddling commenced after.
That's a
But like
classic
someone did take the
thing.
time to take a picture of me. You know,
They
like,
couldn't have been that mad if they took a picture.
yeah. Especially back then when like each photograph cost $4.
Right.
Like, we didn't have cell phones yet.
And it took her 8 months to fill the rest of that
trip to
roll.
town, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, I bet there are a million pictures of baby Marlin, huh? Since you were the first.
Oh, for fucking sure. First and only.
Yeah,
Got it right the first
there
time.
is books and books of chronicling the adventures of Marlin.
Yeah, there's quite a few photos of Marlin.
I have cousins that are from bigger families. That's the first kid. There's like 4, binders full of pictures. And then by the 4th or 5th kid, there's not photographic evidence of their existence till like they start school. So I just love. They're just over it. Like,
Yeah, fucking, we took enough pictures of the other ones.
they look the same. They're siblings.
Why would we do all this again?
Yeah.
No, there's plenty of adorable photos of little Marlin out there.
It's a little Donald Duck, little sailor's hat, tipped to one side.
Most of them are very cowboy in my
course they were.
youth. A lot of little Marlin in too big of cowboy boots, and this cowboy hat is too big too. Yeah.
I remember the only little kid picture that was like professionally done that I can think of is me. I'm little, like 3 or 4. I have a sweatshirt or sweater on that has a robot, and like the important parts of the robot are like buttons. So
Okay,
like, so like
sure.
the eyes are metal. They're almost like rivets.
Yeah.
Like, then like think of it like if I was falling down on an hourly basis at that age. Christ, I bet that would hurt. Imagine falling on a t-shirt covered in rivets. Christ. My God. And then I had what had to be the style at the time, that big floppy protagonist from E.T. haircut, which is kind of almost proto emo. Like there's just a lot of bang.
Yeah,
a lot of
bangs, a lot in the
Yep.
front.
Yeah.
My favorite photo of young Marlin comes from the newspaper clipping when I was in the 3rd grade, so I'd have been 8 or 9, and had like won the county spelling bee in my class or whatever. So it's in a newspaper, so it's already yellowed and looks like it's been clipped from some serial killer story.
Yeah.
The look on my face is that of someone who is definitely going down for murder 1 because they found 11 bodies in a crawl space.
Someone that doesn't know what human meat tastes like yet.
What does not help is the square yellow color change eyeglasses I'm wearing. And I have the most dead-eyed expression
shit.
staring into the camera. I'll have to show you. It's wonderful.
To the lens crafters of Dickinson, it got the Dahmer.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like I've just been arrested because they found all the
There's
bones.
a couple kids in my grade school that had transition lenses. Christ,
Not a good
not
look.
a good look for a young person.
Especially back then, they like today they don't have them down to where they get all the way clear. In fucking 20, 25 years ago, they were yellow.
You know, it's good for a developing young person's eyes. Milky lenses that just gonna concentrate to see out of.
I don't think I saw proper colors until I was well into high school.
Well, sounds like someone's gonna have to scan that photo the next time they're home.
Oh, I for sure have it saved somewhere. Maybe I'll put it up on the Facebooks
There you go.
of the show just for funsies.
Treat for those
Send
listening.
me a bad photo of you two, so we're at least in this together. We both got skin in the game.
I was going to also throw, or just send Marlin a picture of a butthole that may or may not be yours. I just want to hear stories of you opening those emails and not prepared for it.
Yeah, Nathan knows that only I have access to the email account, so thanks, bud.
You run the ecto containment unit.
As we're recording this, that new Ghostbusters trailer just came out today. I don't know if you saw.
I have not. I saw people talking about it, so that adds up. Okay.
It looks like Stranger Things, but
really,
but Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Whatever. I don't know how hot of a take it is. I like Ghostbusters. I have zero emotional attachment to Ghostbusters.
I have a lot of nostalgia for the first one, but it ends there.
Yeah, I don't. So many people really will fucking go to the mattresses over Ghostbusters, and I'm just like,
yeah.
I mean, it's a great movie, but
it's had to have come up on this podcast. But a little treat in the Folsom household used to be, if we were good boys in church, occasionally my mom and dad would stop at the Senex gas station. This is all weird if you grew up in a real town with real businesses. Stop at the gas station, which is also our movie store, and rent a VCR for the day. And we'd each get to pick a movie out.
That whole sentence.
And it comes in a giant, hard clamshell suitcase, weighs roughly 75 pounds, because up until like 1991, VCRs were 85% lead. They're just insanely heavy. And so me and my brother was tiny, so he just whatever he started chewing on, and my mom just felt bad to put back on the shelf. I guess we're renting fucking The Color Purple because my 18-month-old slobbered on it. But
Purple's a fun color. This is probably a fun movie, right? Nope, it's not.
Nope, not for you. And every time I'd have a choice, and every time I choose Ghostbusters.
Really?
And my dad would kneel beside me like, listen, there are countless movies. Look at all these movies. Look at all these options. And I would just like, Ghostbusters. I know you enjoy Ghostbusters. It's an enjoyable film. I just want you to realize, Ghostbusters. Just look around. Take a lap. Take a quick lap. I got a broom handle and I'm fucking shooting pretend lasers at shit.
You're just singing.
I'm Egon. Whatever you want. Whatever gets you out of the store.
I'm Egon. You're definitely not Egon.
I don't even know which of that gang I would be.
Oh, shit. Yeah, which Ghostbuster are either
That's got to be a
really?
shitty Facebook quiz.
Oh,
which
for
Ghostbuster
fucking
are you?
sure. Yeah. They just repurpose the same questions from the fucking Harry Potter quizzes.
Yeah. You wish you were Venkman. You're Annie Post. You're the receptionist that doesn't want to be there.
You're Rick Moranis.
Yeah. Getting blasted by demon dogs. Taking that demon dog nut, you fucking perv.
Everyone thinks they're Knoxville, but they're all Preston.
Whew.
Okay, well, let's do this again next week. What do you say? We'll do 5 more episodes.
11 through 15.
Let's call it 11 through 15 of season 14 of The Simpsons.
Let's do it, everybody.
I watched that Travis Tritt TROUBLE trailer video twice.
Okay, well, you're an older man. Might take two viewings to get to Crazy Town.
So thank you for putting that in my brain.
There you go. A good-looking gal.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong. I just threw it back and did the Buffalo Bill dance a while, and we were good. You can find us on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Barley Basket USA, YouTube, America's Barley Basket. We have that where we put these episodes as well. If YouTube is your preferred method of listening to podcasts, I don't get it, but you do you. Email the show, no buttholes. barleybasketUSA@gmail.com.
Some buttholes.
Nathan.
Good looking buttholes. Like, aesthetically, please. Doesn't have to be sexual. Why do we make everything sexual?
Only good buttholes.
Only good buttholes.
.com.
It's a dispenser. It's not. You can't see them on the website. It's just there's a very generic email.
Mm-hmm.
You just say, hey, you got pictures? You want to get rid of them? We'll take a look. We're not even going to give you. We're just going to look at it. Rest assured, you're not going to get a response. No, someone opens those emails. They take a look. So it's up to you. We're trusting you to send only Good buttholes.
Thanks for that,
Yep.
pal. All right, we're done.
Have a good day, everybody, or night, or whatever you need to do. Woo.